I'm Kenneth Kinney, and welcome to another episode of An Education That Works, where every week Victory University presents to you the success stories of people in our community who've gone on to achieve phenomenal success in their careers after earning a college degree. Today's guest comes to us with an extremely impressive background in both the academic and professional arenas. As a former teacher, as an author, as an HR and management consultant, as a former president of the Memphis City School Board, as a licensed professional counselor, as well as a partner in Prescott & Partners, the consulting business she founded with her husband. Barbara Prescott was selected as the Executive Director of People First, a Memphis Fast Forward initiative. With her, I discuss how higher education today can be viewed as a workforce development initiative, and how educating our citizens from cradle to degree can have a huge economic impact on our community. Join me now as Dr. Prescott and I speak about an education that works. Okay, welcome to another An Education That Works. I'm here with Barbara Prescott, who is the Executive Director of the People First Initiative here in Memphis. She's also a Dr. Prescott, and I want to welcome you to the show and ask you a couple of questions. So, People First has taken a really strong interest in helping people reach their career goals from a cradle to career perspective. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and where you see that playing in particular with higher education?
Sure. People First of all, is a part of Memphis Fast Forward,
Right.
which is an initiative that really looks at what makes us a vibrant and healthy and growing community, and education and development of talent is one of those pillars, and that's what People First does. So we do believe that talent is developed from cradle to career, and we have 4 goals, and our third goal has to do with increasing the number of adults in the community who have either certificates or associates or bachelor's degrees that prepare them for this economy and for our local community. We really work with a lot of different institutions and community organizations to kind of push that agenda. We don't do programs ourselves,
Right.
but we are advocates. We also follow metrics and try to report to the community the state of the community, particularly in higher education. In Shelby County, we have just a little over a third of our adults who have associates or bachelor's degrees. We also have some adults, of course, that have certificates, but that falls really short of what we need in this community for it to really fill the job needs that we have.
Well, so many people, especially adult students who have those certificates or associate's degrees, I'm sure you get asked this either by them or by other people. What level of expectation can a student have that if they go back and get the bachelor's degree, what is a fair expectation for them to, where's their next goal?
Well, I think that, most studies will say that within the next, not too many years, more than 50% of the jobs will require post-secondary education or training. And the, students clearly who have, or adults who have post-secondary credentials can feel pretty comfortable that they are going to earn more in their lifetime and simply have better access to jobs. Now, we've come through a part of our history where we are coming off of a near recession, or recession some people would say, and we do have some young professionals looking, but still so many, the majority of our jobs are going to require training that just simply cannot be acquired just with a high school diploma.
Right. Back when we were high school age, obviously the economy was different, the technical skills needed were different. Is there something, if you're a 18-year-old student, what do you think is a fair expectation for them, a high school student really? What's a fair expectation for them for when they get out of school, that it won't, completely change as it has for anybody in that generation, mine and older. The economy has changed so much, the skills have changed so much, and a lot of students don't know where to set that goal as far as what they want to learn, because what's hot today is not hot tomorrow. So what do you encourage people to kind
high school students, many of them in this community, really have a very narrow picture of what even is available to them.
Sure, absolutely.
There are a lot of organizations in the community. Graduate Memphis is one of them, and that is a part of Leadership Memphis, that really kind of sends adults out into the schools as part of their leadership and giving back to the community. And they have found that students really don't know what to expect. They don't have a broad enough understanding of what the career opportunities are or what kind of training they need to go with those. So I think what I would say to young people is, and to the school district too, because we work with K-12, we work with pre-K, we work with all across that continuum, is that our students need to learn more about jobs that are available. They can expect them to change, actually. They can expect, what is required now to change. But there are some common skills and levels of education that prepare a student where they can be transferable to. So I think that the more a student can obtain their education, the further they can go, the better. But I do think that there are, that in today's economy, there are some very specialized trainings that can equip them for a job. But on any level, the higher they go through their education cycle, I think the more they can expect in terms of lifelong earnings and lifelong success.
Period is necessary to obtain the necessary credentials to obtain a job. Many people choose different careers to go into, but I chose counseling. And I chose counseling because I feel that is my purpose, is to advocate mental health awareness amongst all. I feel that getting a degree in this will allow me to, become competent in the field so that I can help others to the best of my ability. I also feel that getting a degree will also allow you to give you the confidence to approach different careers within the field, whether it be a private practice or in a school setting, and knowing that you have the competence and information to help those individuals.
So you've got a doctorate. Obviously education, before you even got involved with People First, meant a lot to you. Can you describe a little bit about your educational background and where you got from throughout your career? I mean, obviously you're well known, your husband's well known, you've both done a phenomenal amount for the community. But tell me how you got from
Sure.
high school to where you are now.
Yeah, well, I'm from a very small town and had what many young people are blessed to have, which are parents that valued education. Went to public schools, came to what was then Memphis State, and just really, always aspired to those degrees. And actually, I wanted to be a therapist, a counselor, and so a bachelor's degree did not prepare me for that.
Right.
That was a career that actually required a higher level of degree. Now, I could have done that with my master's degree, just one of those people that loves loves to go to school and went on to finish my doctorate. But I think that that is the story of many individuals, that they have a family background that encourages them. Both of my parents, neither of my parents actually had a college degree. One had been to some college but did not complete. But I think that was what we did back then. As you know, you're always aspiring for your children to have more. I think in our community we have to be realistic that not all of our children and students growing through this continuum have that level of support or that level of awareness of what is out there. Now, statewide, our governor is really pushing advanced education beyond secondary education.
Right.
And his drive to 55 is looking for 55% of the adult population in Tennessee to have some training, whether it be a College of Applied Technology, which would be some certification, or an associate's degree, or a bachelor's degree, which is offered at Victory. Really pushing that. And the reason is, first of all, our state is one of the lowest in the country for educational attainment, and also because of the thing that I just talked about, that by 2025, well over 50% of the jobs will require that advanced education.
Well, and we offer, a master's degree in professional counseling, and when I was driving by here, you've got the juvenile courts that are near, and there are a lot of services downtown that help troubled youth, if you will. Why do you think that counseling is a good degree? Why is it a good career for someone?
Well, I think that, first of all, there is a need, always. I was in private counseling. I was a guidance counselor also in a school, so I've been both in a school setting and also in a private setting. But with our students in high school, I just served on the Transition Planning Commission for the school merger, and one of our key recommendations was to increase the number of guidance counselors for two reasons. One is because there are many that have issues and troubled backgrounds and things of concern socially and emotionally, but also the other side of just counseling the student into career and college, whichever the case may be. Unfortunately, the budget did not allow them to increase that, but there is a growing need, I think, always for individuals who have counseling. Counseling is a profession that can really help individuals reach their potential. Like other professions, it's one you have to have a passion for. And in terms of the study that I went through, wanting to be first a school counselor, again, like I said, that required not just the bachelor's degree, but a master's degree. And then, to go further in that, really, not only did I just like going to school, but it seemed appropriate to get the PhD. Now, I'm no longer practicing. I had a private practice for many, many years, but that's one of those degrees that also prepares you if you're in any kind of position where you're working with people, trying to bring people together, trying to convene and problem solve and so forth. That's a very good degree.
As a person who is interested in the field of psychology, when I started my bachelor's degree, I really didn't know where I wanted to go with the degree, but once I started learning about psychology, I really knew that that was the field for me, because just the interest and the possibilities that were out there, that the questions that were asked, I was asking myself, why do I do this? Why is my life like this? And possibly I also understood that maybe I can figure some things out about myself. And generally, that's kind of what sparked my interest in psychology. And as I continued down that road, I really began to see that I wanted to be a counselor. And that came slowly, but I really started to notice how by learning more about myself and the things in psychology, I could talk to other people about that and give them an opportunity to come and sit down and share things that they weren't sure about, which was what I was doing at the time. And the further I got with that, and I realized that I wanted to be a counselor, but I wasn't sure exactly what realm of counseling I wanted to be in. And so the more I got involved, the more I got interested, just the more knowledge was out there and the more studying I had to do and more research I had to do. Once I got to the point to where I received my bachelor's degree in psychology, I was 100% sure at that point I wanted to be a counselor. So really, as far as myself being a counselor, what I love about counseling is that, you know, I know so much about myself, and that is only coming from having studied myself over and over again. And you know, being working at a college as a counselor, I really got to see that people, you know, especially younger people, you know, they have a lot of problems and a lot of issues, but they're not sure who to talk to. You know, they're either coming out of the house from mom or dad, or their pastor, or just a relationship. Maybe they're out on their own, they don't know what to do, and so they'll kind of stumble in the counseling office and open up on just any number of problems. At first I thought it would be things like just basic things, like I have math anxiety, or I have just small problems, my car's not working, I'm stressed out. What I started to see was with those problems also came everything else that I had studied in my degrees, like, you know, people having severe issues at home, stuff in their past, they were abused, anything, basically anything that you could think of. People in college have those same problems. They're just like everyone else.
You mentioned some common denominators earlier of successful students, and for those, you know, obviously you got to a level in your own career in your own right. You achieved a phenomenal level of success that people aspire to get to. So if you look at the types of students, some of the commonality factors, and we kind of call it sort of an education that works. Mm-hmm. How do you get to that level? What do you see the commonalities in those students that you can look at somebody and say, I know this person's going to make it because they've got the X factor? What is that sort of deep?
Well, there are X factors, and then there are some just real practicalities.
Sure.
And one, I think that it is really, really important that we look at education towards success as a continuum. It's very difficult to be successful if you just start paying attention in high school, right, or if you just decide, you know, later in life I want to go back to school, and you didn't have a foundation. Now, if you decide that and you had the foundation, then that's there. Right. But I think some commonalities that we have to look at are students who have good foundations. I mean, like I said, in my home, it wasn't a wealthy home by any chance, but we had books, and we were encouraged to read. So you look at children, students, adults that had a good foundation, that's a plus. If they are working on a trajectory and have good teachers, that's a plus. Certainly personal characteristics, perseverance, and a desire to learn, and a willingness to fail, actually, a willingness to try things that they're not the best in so that they can learn new things. Those are all, I think, real character, kind of care in that realm of character and personality that you can look at to make successful individuals. But I think from a practical standpoint, we all hear of those individuals that didn't finish high school or don't have a degree, and they're CEOs. And they really probably, even they probably had a very good foundation, a kind of value system somewhere along the line that said learning, advancing, really growing is important. It's very important, I think, that we ensure in our community that our young people through adulthood really have solid, firm foundation in education all the way through.
So how do you think that our colleges and universities today can better help students prepare for a future, especially preparing, it's a big focus for us, but to get towards a career?
Yeah. Well, I think that's an important...
And a lifelong career.
Yeah, I think that's an important question. I think that, we have a lot of good institutions of higher learning here in this city, from technical, colleges of applied technology to community colleges to 4-year and advanced degree institutions to private proprietary to, and all, have a lot of good institutions. But I think that institutions can do more to connect that education to work. I think, particularly 4-year institutions, for many years, it's kind of operated on just that learning is important. And I'm one of those people that just believes that learning for the sake of learning is really a good thing. But I think our institutions today are really looking at themselves. They always have, but I think even more so today, understanding that this is workforce development.
Absolutely.
That colleges, whether it be technical, community, 4-year, and advanced degree, it's really workforce development. And so I think there's much that universities can do in terms of whether it's researching and finding new developments that create new jobs that are technical, and that's where jobs come from in a community that is, that has a very strong medical device sector, manufacturing sector. Somewhere there has to be research about that, what kinds of things. Then you've got to have the people that know how to make the machines and those kinds of things. So I think that universities, colleges, technical schools really need to focus on the fact that it's workforce development, that for the most part, individuals go to school to prepare themselves for the rest of their lives, for their careers, for their work. And I think that changes things a bit. I think that when that is your focus, then universities and colleges begin to do more things. They begin to make their students more aware of career opportunities. They begin to work more closely with businesses and industry in the community to say, what is it that you need from our students? So I think they begin to operate a little differently when they really say, okay, we are learning for the sake of learning to some degree, but primarily we're a workforce development institution.
I know that a college degree will give me a better opportunity to get a good job, and I feel that it's also going to be a personal achievement to have a college degree for me and my family.
Where do you see technology playing that part, especially at the higher education level? For so many of the students you talked about that even have like certificates that want to go back to school, they have those options that they didn't have before.
Yeah, I think that online education is going, it's here, and every institution is going to have to acknowledge that, work with it, there's a good place for that. And just in this state, we've got hundreds of thousands of individuals, and literally hundreds of thousands of individuals, who have some college but haven't completed. Well, they may be in a full-time job now. Going onto a campus may not be realistic for them. And so if we want to increase radically the number of adults who have advanced degrees, meaning post-secondary, then I think online education is going to play a big part in that. But I don't think that online education is going to take the place totally of on-campus education. I think that there is still a place for campus life.
Absolutely.
There's a place for having live teachers and interacting with students, although our online courses are getting better at that.
Absolutely.
Because you can have the chat rooms and you can do the video conferencing and those kinds of things. But I think it's going to take really all of those things, and I think different students respond differently to different kinds of modalities, if you will, in terms of learning. Some of those same adults for which online education might be more convenient, they may not feel comfortable with the technology. So they're really, education really is a personal thing, and there are all kinds of students, our non-traditional students, our students that are very well prepared, our students that are not very well prepared, and it will really take all of it. But certainly online education is getting better, it's getting more extensive, and it's going to be something that will need to be held accountable for, I think. I think the more it comes into play, the more we're going to have to, and this happens with employers, I think, at that level. If their hires are not, they come with a credential, but they're not really prepared, then that will show up. But I think there's going to have to be accountability. But I think it can be good. It can really put us on a quicker trajectory of preparing students. But then there's some things, like I said, that just have to be hands-on.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much, Dr.
Well, thank you
Prescott.
for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today. If you or someone you know is looking to earn a degree to change their lives or improve their careers, then I urge you today to go to aneducationthatworks.com and find out more. On behalf of Victory University, thank you for an education that works. Join us this and every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on Local 24 as leaders in our community discuss the secrets to education and career success. Victory University presents An Education That Works.